morning, everyone. Welcome along. Welcome back to Griffin, Indiana, where Kevin's just gotten the harvester and truck sorted here on field 27 for this one of the last of the harvesting contracts we picked up at the end of the last episode. So you can see we've almost finished delivery for field 23 up there in the top middle, and field 27 we're now steadily getting the crop off the field. He also picked up a couple of cultivating contracts that popped up on the board as soon as we cleared the contract on field 2, and so they came with some pretty decent size equipment, so he's was quite keen to take advantage of the opportunity to expand the contracting side of the farm's operation and get those pieces of equipment running today. So we'll leave the harvester and truck progressing. There's a contract there on field 27 which he's now doing, and then there's another canola contract which is on field 30, just a couple of fields further up in the corner. And in his excitement to grab whatever was on offer, he didn't notice that the canola contract on field 30 actually delivers to Mount Vernon, so you'll have to sort out the train delivery a bit later in the day. But for now, we'll head back down to the store and get these cultivating contracts underway. So as you can see, there's some quite large equipment that we've got to work with today. So field 2, which we harvested last time, I think provided us this John Deere and this rather impressive looking piece of kit. So we'll run across there first and get that one going, and then pop back and get started on the other. It's just at the end of the strip here, so very convenient to the store. Right opposite Larson's there. So with any luck, this will largely power through this field unsupervised. Let's have a look there. I told you, it's a big piece of equipment. What we're on a course, and we need to open this up. 15.7 meter work width, so it shouldn't take too long. I think we'll go with 2 headlands to make sure you've got plenty of room to turn around. And we'll start you in the center, smooth corners, and let's see how we go. You can see from the picture there, that's not too bad. Start down the bottom. So we might run him down there just to get a sense of what this is like to work with. Certainly should carve up the field all right. Let's line you up and set you off. Excellent. Let's go back and get the next one. And now a bright Rostelmash, and he's heading over to field 14, so also not too far away. Everything nice and convenient today. at least in regards to the cultivating. And part of Kevin's strategy here was that, well, these should be fairly straightforward, and if he's lucky and a couple more cultivating contracts come up before the end of the day, then he's in a position with this really big kit potentially to take care of those as well. So kind of a nothing ventured, nothing gained strategy. Let's just have a look what the fastest way into field 14. It's the one up near the road that we harvested, so we'll go round the way we normally do. But so far the strategy of funding the big interest costs on our loan through the contracts that are available in the harvest season's worked out pretty well. The acid test is going to be shortly where we have to start getting stuck into our own fields. Certainly he's keeping an eye on what's happening. We've got to get those straw bales off, and we need to just check on the animals, but we can do that in a bit of a minute. And he's finally succumbing to Jocelyn's pressure to deal with the grass around the house. He's got a bit of a plan that hopefully he can put into action a bit later on in the day. Now let's get this contract going. It's looking like field 27's continuing to progress, so I would suggest the harvester is still moving. With any luck, we should see shortly that the delivery for field 23 completes, so I would suggest that the unload process is also working. Let's pop on over here, do the same as we did for the last one. So the only thing we've got to watch here is that it's picking more of the field than we want. So the way we solve for that one is to get out of our tractor and go back into the worker screen, select our field where we want to draw a custom field, and if we just right click, and because it's nice and square, we shouldn't have too much difficulty. Here we go. We want to save that. We'll actually record it as field 14. There we go. So now when we get back into our vehicle, because we've got the settings correct and we want to create a job, we now get the field we want because it picks custom fields over the default. And the work width there, we'll do 2 headlands with this. This is a slightly narrower cultivator. We will start on the center though as before, and we'll generate the fieldwork course. You can see it wants us to start just down in front of us here. So we'll pop down there and get sorted. Should do, yeah. Lined up enough, I hope. Excellent. Let's go get the ute. Now I just ducked back in at here and found that where we'd left the bits of the trailer are actually in the way for the truck to turn here at the edge of the field. So whilst he's full, he was actually sitting there waiting. That's the head of the trailer that we left there. So what we can do, hopefully now that the harvest has further progressed into the field, we can we can park the truck a little bit closer to it and it'll pick back up. So there's 99% on field 23. So we just need a smidge more there. And then we should start delivering against this field. If we pop you on, you'll now pick up there. There we go, he's been called already. That was good timing. Let's get back up to the farm. Actually, while he's here, let's just see, he can put part of his plan into action. So it turns out that Jocelyn has gotten to know a young lady that lives just down the road a little bit, and like most young teenagers, she's looking for some work to do. And so what he's thinking is if he picks up a really simple little mower, she's only 13 or 14, she can earn some pocket money and mow the area around the grass, and that'll make Jocelyn happy. It'll take a job off his list, and there's kind of winners all around is the plan. So that might even be small enough to go in the back of the ute here. Let's have a look. Quirk of this ute is we can't, in fact what we might go and do is solve for a problem that we have by putting it into the shop, because the tonneau cover doesn't work properly. So let's get a little bit of maintenance done on our ute. Repair it while we're here, and we'll ask them to take the bed cover off. Like so. Customize that. This should do the job perfectly. Might take her a little while, but it'll keep her busy. She'll be happy. Jocelyn will be happy, and everyone will be sweet. So just connect back onto the trailer and head back to the farm. So we might pop the service trailer just in the into this shed here. So the way he's thinking about approaching this is to do a circuit, and then she can just mow inside it. So we might move that tractor out of the way. start over here at the corner of the field. This won't be a speedy process, but it'll get the job done. Just turn on record. Around we go. Just stay well away from equipment and buildings. This will do the job that Jocelyn was looking for without impacting too much on the rest of the activities that we've got going. And, you know, Kevin's honest with himself. It's a job that's needed to be done. We just haven't had time to get it all sorted. So this is an easy way to do it. And as she develops an experience, ultimately she might become a really handy resource for the farm. Graduate ultimately to the bigger mower, and that'll be terrific. So as he said, wins all round, and there's something quite fun about tootling around on this little mower, to be honest. If we don't like the look of the field shape, we can edit it a bit later on, but for now, just getting an outline for her to mow inside will well and truly do the job. Cows are all looking pretty good over there, so that's fine. Stay on that. Avoid running into trees. We've got little copse of trees in the middle. We'll experiment with see how clever she is navigating around those, or whether she gets stuck. Ultimately, we might have to break it up into little paddocks. We'll see if we can make do with islands. Cutting this in the past, we get a meaningful amount of grass. When you think about it, it's quite a big area. So there's the field done. So let's turn that off. We'll call that and off our mower. And we'll call that home lawn. Okay. Now we get on and we say create a job. On this field. Target position can be here. Just one. Let's do 4 headlands. Smooth corners. Let's not overlap too far. And circle bypass is how we'll do it. And generate the course. See how it gets on. Might take a minute because of the shape of the field. And that did indeed take a minute, so we'll see how we go. We'll drive down to the start point, I think, just to give ourselves a chance. It starts over here. There's our first waypoint. And so off you go. She's away, just as we wanted. So we'll let her run around. Now it's looking like our cultivating contracts are doing fine. They're both up at halfway. Let's go check in on our harvest. So there's the end of the contract on field 23, the contract on field 27. And because I was too slow, they took all the crop that was left over there. So we got another $8,000, which wasn't ideal. We were planning to take that back because that's ours. That's surplus. But nonetheless, there's another partial tank in the harvester here that we'll put up with our stocks. There we go. We can take the work, it gives the worker a well-earned break out of the harvester. Now, if we look at the contract situation, we can see that 23 and 27 are now complete, so we can take those. Field 30 is the only harvesting contract we've got left to do. As indeed he hoped, some more cultivating came up. So I think we want to grab that contract. And we'll do that with the equipment that he's already got working. But for now, we'll concentrate on just getting field 30 done in the corner. So field 30 is just a couple of fields up. Unfortunately, we can't easily get there without driving on the road, so we'll need to put the header back on its trailer. Although it doesn't look like there's a crop. Maybe we can skirt the field. Oh, there is a crop in there, is there? Let's have a look. It's just weeds. So I think it's safe to skirt the field. We'll go on the back edge. Easier than messing around with the header trailer. And as you can see, just a pocket handkerchief size field. Be lucky to get more than a single load off here. So we'll just whip the crop off quickly, and then we can run the rest of those oats back to our silo and sort out the train for this canola. The worker's finished his break, so we can run this back up to our farm and see how our young lady is progressing with her mowing. The work on fields 2 and 14 is progressing really nicely, so they're up to almost 3/4 done, which is fabulous. Our sheep are looking pretty good down there. Not quite a full bale of wool to move. So touch under 15,000 litres of oats there, and if we have a look at our little tool, that'll take us up to about 23,000, but at best price, that's another $16,000 or $17,000. So just in terms of surplus, we covered another couple more months of the leasing cost for the harvester. So what we can go ahead and do now is complete the contracts on field 23 and 27, so they bump up our costs pretty well. Sorry, our bank balance up over 100,000 again, which is good. The other job we need to do today, we'll just get a driver organised to take the milk down to the dairy, because we haven't done that for since last month, and our cows tend to produce fairly steadily now. Got a few in there and they're at the right age. It's one of those jobs we know we can pretty reliably get someone to do. And now you're going to deliver to the dairy. And your total $37.50 in the tanker. Meanwhile, we'll grab the truck and head back up to field 30, because I reckon our harvester will be pretty near done. Our young lady mowing has done 3 of the headlands. Look out for her. Her name's Jessica, by the way. Look out for Jessica as we head down the road. He's hiding in there somewhere, I'm sure. Almost $5,000 at the dairy for the milk. And I just arrived up here to see how much of the canola fitted in that first tank. The headlands, basically. So I know just a small triangle left here to finish off. So we can run this down to the train silo while the harvester finishes off. And when we get there, we can head across to field 14 and move the cultivator onto the other field. Speaking of which, it doesn't look like that contract took. It looks like that contract disappeared on us, the really lucrative one. Oh no, it just didn't accept it before. So field 8 is the one we want to cultivate. As well, top you off here. There's a couple of bumps in the field there. We might have to come back and sort those out. The other thing we can check is how much do we need to deliver for this contract. I think it'll be more than 2350, but we know that sending crop to Mount Vernon, they got a bit of leakage in the yard there, and they tend to keep anything extra we send. So let's have a look at our harvest contract, and 25,000 litres at once, so it will be a little bit more, but that's okay. While this is unloading in the silo, we'll run across to field 14 and grab the cultivator. You need to go to field 8, which is where? So field 8's right beside where we are at the silo there. Nothing speedy about the Rostel mash, but plenty of pulling power. With any luck, we can get down this side road. We fit along the side of the fence between the ballpark. What looks like could be the post office, not sure. Just fit round the corner there, wouldn't want to bring too big a vehicle that way. This is field 8 right here. So let's get going with this one. Same basic rules as before. Generate the course. And we'll let you start. No, you can't. We'll drive up there. Looked like it was starting in the far corner of the field. Our other cultivator has finished, but we'll go finish the harvest contract first, which is finished getting the crop off the field, and then we'll come back and drive the other cultivator. We'll set this one to work, and because he's starting in the middle, he'll get a fair amount of that done while we're getting organised, and we can sort the headlands out. Long old way up this field. About half the map width, I guess. Let's get you lined up on your row. Let's head on back up and empty that harvester. Actually, before we go up there, what we can do is organise the train so it should be here when we get back. Rent the train. There we go. It's about 7 kilometres away, so that tends to mean about 5 to 10 minutes, so plenty of time for us to go and get the crop out of the harvester. We know we've got a little bit up the other end to do as well, where the contours in the field weren't necessarily all that forgiving for the honeybee, the wide honeybee header. Just going to get those. We've got plenty of crop. We needed 25 to deliver. We've got over 26, so that should work all right. In fact, it's looking like we'll have up over 27. There we go. Let's go and get this across to the train. There's our train just pulling in. So it'll only have to sit there for a minute or two while we get round and put another, we'll probably try and put 5,500 of this in the silo. It'll give just a little bit of margin for error in terms of sending the train over. That should, we've put 5,000 and something in. Let's go round to the train. Let's see how much we've put in the train. Okay, so let's open that cover there. Braking in plenty of time so that we actually manage to stop the train. We want to put some canola in. 25.5, that wasn't a bad guess. Let's pop you in the train. And send you off to Mount Vernon. Then we can walk over to where we were cultivating and grab that other cultivator. They're getting a few miles just as well. We've got our running boots on today. Yes, we do. The contract on field 30 was finished. That's exactly what we wanted to hear. So we can go ahead onto field 30's contract. Harvesting canola and collect on that. Let's go and grab this cultivator. If we fold you up, we're not all that far from where we need to go. Very convenient at this corner. We just do a bit of a wheel here across the rail line. And the first thing we can do is take out this awkward end on the field. So that our other tractor doesn't have to worry about it. Let's just pop you down. Give ourselves plenty of clearance on that fence. I think the easiest here might be just to, even though it'll be a little bit of overlap, we'll just do straight across the field. It'll be quicker than turning around. .3 with these two tractors and these big pieces of kit working, we should zoom through the field pretty quickly. Really nice, this combination, this John Deere. Over and up. So these three contracts will push the bank balance up to sort of the 180 region and mean that we can start, while we're waiting in the second half of August for our own soybean crop to harvest, we can concentrate on getting the straw bales off the field and the straw picked up, and yeah, get that field mulched and ready to seed. So we'll be in pretty good shape in terms of our own activities. We'll also have a look at our animals, because there's a few head of Angus now that are, over the next month or two, will kick up over $3,000 a head, which is, roughly speaking, our price point. So we'll start turning the herd over the next couple of months, which is a real significant turning point in development of the herd. And potentially with the money that he's collected here and confidence that he can cover the interest costs, Kevin might think seriously about buying that fields that he pointed out last time, just beside the our milk cow field, and stocking that, because potentially the financial position is strong enough to do that. I guess it'll all depend if any of the equipment that he's got his eye on comes up in the sales or not. The temptation will be to expand the farm rather than just sort of hang on to money sitting there. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens on that front. And as you can see from the gauge, we're a quarter of the way through this field, so this shouldn't take too long at all. Just doing the first headland round here. It's given Kevin a real taste for the sort of equipment that he's aspiring to on his plans as the land holding gets a little larger. Of course, got to sort out the small matter of a loan first, but this would definitely be a nice combination to be able to have parked in the shed. Very nice to drive, so we'll just shoot across here. Just get that a little bit. And we can just get a regular worker on the up and down that's just gone 4 o'clock, and we've done almost half the field, so we'll comfortably get this sorted out. If Kevin gets a worker on this activity, he can just run the 2 trucks back up to the farm and check how Jessica's going with the mowing. Hasn't heard from her for a little while, so not sure what the experience has been. There are a few trees and obstacles that she has to navigate, so could easily have gotten tangled up there. $10-4, good buddy. I think we got ourselves a convoy. Looks like she missed one headland there, so go looking for her in a minute. Guess we'll get the canola out of this truck. Can empty out of there. We'll thank this guy for his help today. Thank you very much, sir. In your little spot. Move the Mack can slide back in over here for the minute. We'll need that when we get up to the soybeans, of course. Yeah, where is Jessica? Haven't seen her come past, so I'm guessing she's stuck somewhere. Not quite sure how to figure it out. Oh, how'd you end up getting stuck down there, dear? Not sure. Looking a little bit confused there. What's the whole course look like? I didn't actually... That's why. Calculate the whole course. The course has gotten a little bit complicated by the looks. Never mind, we might stop that there as experiments go. We got a bit done, but we might have to divide that up into several fields, I think, before we get her back. But now we'll just park you over here in the workshop. With this one to the end of the row and then just go back and fix, because it's the narrower cultivator, just the rest of that headland that's on the left hand side. We've got the other cultivator now just doing up and down rows, which it'll eat through fairly darn quickly, so we probably don't require horseplay anymore. We can have a go with the rostel mash when we get to the end of the row here. If we just check in the shop what's on sale. There's our own cultivator that we can't, we couldn't pull at this stage. In the case that we can't afford, so we could have thought about potentially the well, we could still think about the cultivator. It's only just beyond the range of our tractors, but it's not necessarily a high enough priority at this stage. Interesting, but not essential, I think would be the way Kevin terms it. Let's go. So with any luck, we'll get this piece of headland knocked out, and then there's probably only 2 more up and down for each tractor, and that'll be the contract done. Just coming up to 6 o'clock in the evening. We're just finishing off this headland over beside the railway line, and we'll back into the centre. With any luck, 1 more up and down. We've got the other tractor also running. We'll pretty much finish this off, so somewhere around about 6:30 would be my guess. So meter is saying that it's at 81%, so go pretty close. Oops, let's get you on the right line. We're at 93%. Coming up to 6:30, so it'll be very close. Certainly be finished before 7. I think the other tractor is on its way back down, and we'll just have a tiny slither for the rostel mash to finish between. We'll see how we go. But another busy day here in Griffin, Indiana, in the middle of summer. So tracking well with all our different activities. Haven't had to sell any of the silage that we're accumulating in the fermenting silo as yet, so we have a look. The grass that we cut last time is still processing. We've got hay for the animals, which we'll feed next time, and our silage is still kicking up. And in terms of sale, the price is not terrific at the moment. It's okay, but we'll get a lot better for it around the end of the year. So there's a nice little pot of money that's accumulating there that'll deal with our interest requirements through the winter when the contracts aren't as prevalent. We've also got a little bit of fabric kicking around as well, so things going quite nicely. Now the fabric situation's picked up a little bit because the sheep are breeding as well and starting to produce a little bit more wool. So all in all, stuff's going pretty well. And in fact, the farmer for this field is happy with our progress. So we're pretty much done here. We might just turn the rostel mash round and send him back down the centre. Let's get the right gear and head up this line, and that will be the job well completed. In fact, we can the worker on there and jump up the other end and find that this one's turned around, so you don't need to go all the way up there. We can finish you off and fold you up and move you off to the side. We got it all done before the rain arrives, so all in all, that's a pretty good spot to be. This lot here is pretty interesting. You never know if Kevin's always got schemes running, so maybe there's a facility that he decides the town needs that we could organise some funding for. We'll have to see, but that looks like a pretty good spot. Put a factory of some description. So as the light fades, you're pretty much done, so we can go in and finish off the contracts, which will then also return the equipment. So field 8 we can collect, field 2 we can collect, field 14 we can collect. In terms of next time, we'll evaluate that when we get there, but for now that's a good spot to leave it. 184,000 in the bank. That's a great position to be midway through harvest season, comfortably covering our costs and making a little bit along the way. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Hope you're enjoying it. Catch you next time. See ya.